You're tuned into Recovery TV, the voice of hope, with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Discussions and information on addiction and mental health issues. Here's your host with today's guest.
Welcome to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Thank you for watching another edition of my program, but you need to get Narcan. Everyone needs to get Narcan. Put it in your purse, put it in your car, take it out at night. This piece right here saves lives. We're down on overdose deaths. We need to go even further. My guests today are Mr. Tommy Joyce and Mr. George O'Toole from the Rhode Island Association of Addiction Professionals. Welcome, gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us today.
So, Tom, you're the president, so you're going to have to go first.
Sure.
Tell me about this affiliation.
Sure. So the Rhode Island Association of Addiction Professionals is the Rhode Island affiliate of NAADAC, which is the National Association of Addiction Professionals. And a few years back, a few of us from the community wanted to find a way to get the professionals who are working in the addiction field in Rhode Island together, to collaborate, to support each other, to have some advocacy, to work at the State House, but also have the backing of a national organization that does national advocacy with us. And there's a lot of benefits to the membership, but in the beginning, there was a core of us who got together just to find that support. How can we get together? We were just coming out of COVID, and things felt splintered. So we said, why don't we try to get an organization together to try to give that support and get everyone together to have one voice, to have that advocacy voice to come out for the whole community, whether you're a peer recovery specialist, you could be a student in school, you could be in private practice, you could work for a CCBHC. Anybody who works in the field can be part of RIAP.
So you're a professional organization.
Yes.
Single membership, or you do like an office membership? How does that work?
So there's different tiers. So we work to be a part of Rhode Island Association of Addiction Professionals, you sign up for NAADAC, which is the National Association. With that comes a lot of benefits. So when you sign up for the NAADAC, I think it's a little over $100, and then you pay another small fee to become part of the Rhode Island affiliate. And then you become part of the national organization and part of the local organization. And so you have over 360 plus CEUs for trainings. You have a career center. You have be part of national advocacy. So, and you have the networking, which is the best part of NAADAC, because now you're networking with people around the country. And there's online chats, there's boards that you can go on. So we wanted to make sure that people around knew that the resources and their support was out there. And so you just basically go onto the NAADAC website, find the membership, it asks you where you're from, it'll come up with a Rhode Island affiliate, and that's it. And then what happens is we find out that you become a member, and then we reach out, and we have events coming up, and we go through there, we go through a mailing list, and we're trying now to get more active in the community.
And now, George, my understanding is yourself, you handle the funding,
Yes.
the treasurer.
Yes.
So tell me about your experience with NAADAC.
My experience is that it helps us get out there and the support that we need, especially when it comes time to certify your credentials. It has the education there and the purposes. Sometimes you're looking for all this education and you can't find it. And some people don't have the money to pay for it like that. But if you pay this one fee, it's available to you. Like Tommy said, there's over 300 different CEU classes available. The funding is really minimal, and we also have different events that we go out every year. We have a get-together coming up soon.
October 29th.
October 29th
Yep.
at Kodak
Yep.
on Royal Little Drive,
12 to
45, 12 to 2. And it's just about what we do, how we do, getting together, bringing everyone together, and supporting what we do as work.
How long have you been a member?
3 years now.
3 years. How about you, Tom? I
Same.
know
We
you-
were part of the founders.
the founders in
Yep.
Rhode Island?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it a Rhode Island chapter?
Yes.
It is, yes.
Okay. All right.
So some of our other board members, we have Lisa Peterson,
Yep,
who's
I know Lisa.
she was our past president, who was our immediate past president. We have Norm Brissett, who's our secretary, who's in private practice. Veronica Brawl is our at-large member.
Large.
Yep, and she's at CCC, or otherwise known as Discovery House. We have Laura Loria from the Providence Center, And we have another private practice is a Karina Courier. So we want to grow in what we're doing. It's like we have our Lunch and Learn that's coming up at Royal Little Drive, and we have John Cipolla from the Rhode Island Council of Problem Gambling and Rhode Island Problem Gambling Services kind of giving an outline on how to treat gambling disorders, and then go through the process of going through the academy and actually working with PGS to provide those services and get reimbursed.
Yeah.
So we're looking at opportunities too of that person in private practice can grow their practice, that person who's working in the agency can, again, see some patients on the side if they want to, but it's about showing the opportunity out there and showing what's out there. And then we're showing that RIAP can be that bridge to these other supports that they need.
How long has NADAC been in the country? How long is it? It's been a long time? Or?
1972.
1972.
Yep. And so there's actually our national conference is coming up. So it's one of the national accreditation agencies for addiction services. So we use ICRC in Rhode Island, but all the CEUs or education credits, they like NADAC.
Yeah.
And so one of the things they do very, very well is the training piece. The online training is phenomenal, wide variety of topics, and there's always that support that's there.
Yeah,
So
I know that we've been talking about this at the Leadership Council about partnering up with NADAC. So we'll talk more about that
we got you.
offline because I like our organization to join because I think it's so important now with all the stuff that's going on in the world, in the country, locally, with mental health. And not receiving the funding that we should be receiving to deal with the problems that everyone is having with mental health. I know last week I had Dr. Zimmerman on, and we talked about psychiatry, how long it takes to get an appointment with a psychiatrist. If you're an adolescent, a parent cannot afford to wait 12 months, 6 months, 8 months to get an appointment with a psychiatrist if you have a child who's having a problem. So, even like we were talking about workforce and the stress in the workforce. I know you two guys for a long time now. We all have a lot of stress. Whether it's employee stress or it's work-related stress or it's just the environment that we work in stress. It's becoming a big issue in the United States and in Rhode Island.
So I know to that point. So when I first started in the field 20 years ago, I would go to trainings, and there was a group of people, was Laurie Dorsey, Ian Knowles, Linda Mahoney was one of them, and they would come to the trainings and say, please stay in the field. We need you. I think we're at that point again. And to me, I think that was part of one of the key elements of starting RIAP was, let's reach out and tell people, please stay in the field because we need you. We're at a shortage right now. And so I think we all got together to say, how can we create something that's going to encourage people to stay in the field and give them the support that they need and let them know that we need them. And it kind of reminded me of 20 years ago of the same people that I looked up to as my mentors now, saying, we need you. They would just come to, there was a big training, and they said, who's here from Rhode Island? And they took us off to the side and said, gave us some pizza and said, listen, we need you. Can you stick around? And I think that's really the heartbeat that we're looking for at RIAP, as well as being that collective voice to either talk to legislators or advocate for topics that we deem important.
You made a good statement about a hot beat. Our hot beat is very minimal now in the arenas that we're in. But I want to talk more about that when we come back. We got to go to break. You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassone. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassone Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, Kodak. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassone. George O'Toole, Tommy Joyce, Rhode Island Association of Addiction Professionals. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
George, how long have you been in the field?
Almost 15 years now.
Tommy?
It's going to be 20 coming up in a few months, 20 years.
So we have in the house here 35 years of professionalism. What would you see moving forward on how addiction medicine, mental health, in 2030, 2035, 2040, where do you see it going?
I can answer, if you don't want me going first,
Oh,
Judge,
go, Werner.
that where I'd like to see it go. So I think
Well, you're the
that-
president.
Well,
so
this
you're
is
like-
my theory is that, a lot of times we're focusing on the substance, not realizing why that person's using the substance.
Mm-hmm.
So why does someone have to use something artificial in order to feel calm or normal, like everybody else? So what I'd like to see is people getting treated for what's making them so uncomfortable that they use something artificial to be comfortable, and kind of go back to treatment and address whatever's going on. And I know from my own personal story, 'cause I'm a person in recovery, until my kind of mental health and other things kind of got diagnosed and got treated, that was the reason why I was doing what I was doing all those years. So that's my hope, that we're not going to focus, because there's going to be a new fentanyl, there's going to be a new xylazine, something that's going to come. We have to treat the reason why. We have to really look at, what's the rock in the shoe? What's making that person uncomfortable?
That's why I use the tagline that I use is hope and recovery, because you two are the hope. I'm just the host of the show. You guys been through it. You guys have dealt with it. And now you're professionals in the arena, because people need to look up to yourselves as people who've been through it, walked through it, ran through it, stumbled through it, and now you're the professionals.
I think as a generation grows, so I know when I came into the field, when I came into the program, or however you want to say it, into recovery, a lot of people had substance use issues, and mental health was kind of like put in the back.
Back burner.
So it wasn't really dealt with. But as we age now, the more I'm in this field, the longer I'm in the field, I'm seeing where that mental health and that substance use are like walking down the same street. And it's like, it wasn't like that years ago. And now people are still trying to treat the substance use and not treat the mental health until later.
Right.
And we need to come on an even
Together,
keel
right,
and work
right.
together
Now,
on it.
do you think COVID
And-
caused that problem?
I think it was a contributor. It
Yeah.
definitely contributed to it.
Didn't-
Absolutely.
It didn't help. And so I think people came out of COVID, and it took a while to find out what people were really doing when they were isolated. 'Cause they were disconnected. And
That's a good word. Disconnected.
Yeah. I know, like anxiety disorders, right? That's, I know for me that was a main root of my substance use. And, a lot of people come out of COVID with the same thing.
Right.
And so, look at the alcohol use during COVID. Look at other, and then we jumped into, of course the opiate epidemic was still going on, but that didn't help either. So, the way I look at it is, people like us who have the same mentality that if we do our job well enough, we're going to be unemployed, and that's the goal. I wish
I
there was
say
a
that all
world
the
that they
time
didn't
about
need
the show.
they didn't need us.
Yeah.
But unfortunately there is, and we're fortunate to have allies. There's people who aren't in recovery who are absolutely rock stars in our community because they listen. And they see the common good, and they want to treat people as human beings and treat them with respect and value. So I think that's the goal.
Yeah. You bring up a good point, because, and we talked about this beforehand. I'm not in recovery. But if you came to me, either one of you, I'd go to the mat for either one of you. And I'll go to the mat for anybody, because I was brought up the right way. I was brought up when my parents said, take care of the people that need help the most. I could write a book, the things that I've done over the past 15, 20 years of paying for somebody's groceries when they knew they didn't have their money, getting people into treatment when they couldn't get in, helping people in Las Vegas that watched the show, that have called me, can you help my relative in Rhode Island? can you help my relative in Massachusetts? It's all about connections. It's all about relationships. It's all about trying to get the best for an individual who needs help. And I say it all the time too. I'm tired of going to wakes and funerals
Yep.
of people who have died of an overdose. I'm tired. I don't need to go out 4 to 7 on a night where a 19-year-old or 20-year-old has overdosed.
Well,
You know, it's you know, this is a team effort.
Yeah.
There's no I in
that.
team.
Nope.
There's no I in team.
So how do we get there?
And,
Yeah.
and that's why I, you know, that's one of the reasons why we set up we had the Rally for Recovery. We have the Rally for Recovery every year. September is Recovery Month because we want the community to know that we recover, that we go on, we live, change our lives, and we become human beings, and we become part of society. And it's about bringing in the community, people that are not personally in recovery themselves, but letting them see what we do, who we are, and growing together. And it's people like yourself who are not in recovery, but care about the recovery process and care about seeing people move on to the next step.
Everybody, no matter who it is, whether it's Donald Trump or John Tassone, everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Everybody. Some people, their mistakes are worse than others. If they get in trouble, they overdose, they don't go into recovery, they live on the street. We need to help. They're human beings. That's what people don't get. You know, I mean, I have friends that say, John, what are you doing in that field?
Yeah.
I mean, they're all drug addicts. They're all homeless people. They're not worth anything to the community. I said, let me tell you something. If it was your brother or your sister, you wouldn't be saying that, or your mother or your father. You know, there's 15,000 kids in Rhode Island right now living with their grandparents because of issues pertaining to their mothers and fathers. Whether they're incarcerated, whether they're passed away of an overdose, or they're missing somewhere. What do you do with those 15,000 kids? You've got to talk to those 15,000 kids, and that's why psychiatry is very important.
Yes.
We're going to take a quick break. You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, Sean Tassone. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassone Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, Kodak. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassone. Tommy Joyce and George O'Toole are in the house. They're with the Rhode Island Association of Addiction Professionals. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today. Very insight information on the organization. Tommy's the president. George is the treasurer. You have a upcoming event.
Yes, we do. So on Wednesday, October 29th from 12 to 2.
It's my birthday, by the way.
Oh, you guys are going to be there?
Come down, we'll have a cake for
We'll
you.
have
Okay,
cake.
all right. Yeah.
At 45 Roy Little Drive, which is Kodak's new location, we're having a lunch and learn. And so we want addiction professionals from around the state to come. We're offering CEUs for education on problem gambling. So we have John Cipolla, who's, if you don't know John Cipolla from the problem gambling field, outstanding expert in the field. We'll be giving a presentation. We'll have some refreshments, some lunch, and more networking of that solidarity that I think is needed in our addiction field. You know, we also have other events that we usually have in the spring. We have a Funny for Funds. We work with Billy Simons with Funny for Funds to have a comedy fundraiser because in our field, sometimes things can get a little trying.
Yeah.
And so we want a night out to get together, have a few laughs, and get together. And again, have that collective voice. But like you said before, it takes a village. And so we need to work together to help the people that deserve our services.
So Tommy, how do they register?
Sure. So if you go to our website at the Rhode Island Association of Addiction Professionals, go right on there and you can sign right up. And we hope to see you on that day because it's all
I'll be there.
welcome.
Or you can just come. Yeah,
chocolate cake.
I will make
chocolate.
sure I have I will make sure I have a cake
I want
for you.
to thank both of you for coming on today.
Thanks
You
for
know,
having
We've
us
been friends a long
again.
time, so I want to greatly appreciate, you know, our friendship and you know, moving forward.
And actually, thank you for your leadership and
Yes.
and always being a true supporter for people with substance use
Recovery.
disorders and
Thank you.
recovery.
I appreciate it. Next week, my guest will be Dennis Leahy from the Rhode Island Hope Initiative, which is located at Kodak now. So be careful, look at your surroundings, and we'll see you next week.